Hello everybody. I'm here on the Flume Trail, the Greenbelt, and I promised you that I would go ahead and take you along down on this trail here. If you remember the last videos, I came from this direction here, and I usually have taken this way and taken you along this journey here. So now it forks off here, and so now I'm going to take you along this journey. So here we go. Now again, in the last videos, I mentioned earlier before that this will take me down to the creek. I'll cross a bridge, and then it will go back up to Ponderosa Way, and then it'll head into town in Magalia. So I'll take you guys at least as far as the end of Ponderosa Way, and just spend this time with you. As you can see, it's a little bit bumpy. I got my better boots on, my Danners, just for this little bit of rough terrain. I mean, I could still use, you could use any shoes, you guys, any sort of trail shoes, but it just, I know that those, the Skechers I have are good for this too. Just the only thing is, as far as like the traction, when you're going down grade like this, again, there's that kind of that slip factor where you can slip, and these boots, I notice, will kind of get into the ground better. But I've also still slipped in these too, and still can slip in these. So again, it really doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what kind of shoes you have, unless they're like logging boots with spikes on them. You're which I know there's another name for it. I can't remember what they're called, but unless you have those that you're going to have, or football cleat or football shoes that you'll be able to get a good grip on the soil, you're going to end up slipping at one time or another. I just noticed that these boots have good tread on them. They have better tread, so I'm less likely to slip. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to slip. Anyways, so that's my 2 bits. Yeah, see, I kind of went forward again, almost slipped right there. I grab a hold of a loose rock in the soil, and my boots all of a sudden turn into roller skates. And that's what happens. So, again, doesn't matter what kind of boots or shoes you have, unless they're logging boots with the spikes, you're going to end up slipping one way or the other. So you just got to watch each step you take and just be careful. especially when you're way out in the wilderness with nobody around for miles. Yeah, you have to watch your steps. And you can talk to all the hikers, the through hikers. They will tell you the same. I'm sure you've probably seen their videos, so you don't have to get that from me. Just listen to what they say. Anyways, it's kind of an open field out here. Oh, another slip. Somebody built some sort of, I don't know why they built that, but they did. It's pretty cool. But why they built it, I don't know. Just slipping and slipping. Slipping and sliding. Yeah, just real dry in here. Starts getting a little bit Lord of the Rings in here. A little bit dense, thick. Okay. Now this is where I run into a little bit of a drop. So I could take this way down. It's a little bit steeper going down there. Or I could take a little bit of the easier way, which isn't much easier, but it is a little bit easier. But I figure, well, since I got my phone in the hand, I better go ahead and take the easier way down. Sorry, guys. Whoa. And yeah, I'll go this way. I could go around the tree over here, but that's okay. Just slipping and sliding. Slipping and sliding. It'll be easier coming back up. I won't run into that so much. Getting close to the creek, running into a lot of ivy. Starting to get greener. There's the sign for the spillway bridge this way. Quite a drop. And we're here at the bridge. You can see the spillway here. I'll zoom out here, and then I'll get a little bit closer for you guys. Goes on down there. And here it is. The river goes around that bend over there. And then it drops down here. pretty cool spot to just hang out. Heck, I might be able to, if I wanted to camp out, which I've said it before, not too many people do that down here. But I was just looking at, I can't help this. I almost feel tempted to bring some sort of tube or something like that and slide down there. That would be kind of cool. Even though I know there's a lot of rocks, those could be moved out of the way. And then your landing could be right there level. And then get back up. Hike back up here. And try it again. This would be a good area to kind of, you know, put your feet in. Get a little, splash a little bit of water on you. It's not that deep, as you can see. But yeah, it's cool stuff, you guys. So now I could either go up to Ponderosa Way. This is the trail, the off-road part of it, right up here. Or I can take this way and run into it that way. I think I'll go ahead and take you up this way just to get a view of the road. And here we go. This way here will take you to another bridge, and then you cross the river, or the creek rather. And it's something similar to that bridge. I don't know if it's the same size or smaller. Doesn't matter. And then that will take you back out to, now see, I may go ahead and, that should take you back out to, it might be the lower trail, because last video I didn't come across that bridge, so it had to have been back at that, before that point. So that'll be just something we can take that journey together and see what comes of it. So this is where I'm heading here. Oh, okay. So there is a sign up here. So they call it, I don't know what. Okay. So I don't know what F&T bridge is, but that's the other bridge. There's Amherst Plunge, Lil Falls, and that's all this way. So, and you take this up here, this will head back out to the main roads up on the other side on Skyway and Wycliffe and all that. POA. This is still POA property here, this part of it. And then eventually they'll run into a gate. You'll run into a gate. It'll be closed gate, so not everybody can go through it. There is a residence. There is an access to a residence up ahead, and it has no trespassing signs and all that stuff. So they let you know, not to go beyond that point. So that's pretty cool that they give us a heads up. I found quartz crystals in this area. You'll come across that here on this road trail. I'm really calling it a trail because I don't see how a vehicle can drive this. So this is more like a trail part of it. When you get more to the gate and towards that residence, that property, that's when it becomes more of a road. But there was a section of that road that slid from the rains and all that. So here's where that section, if I was to take it, that other part, that would have led me out here. And of course it runs parallel to this whole thing runs parallel to the creek. It's a little bit open over here, and I'm getting closer and closer. It's a nice madrone. Getting a little bit closer and closer to the burn area from the campfire. So the fire did come up a little bit, and it did hit Magalia, and it actually burned a lot of homes in Magalia. A lot. Ooh, get a nice view in here. This is cool stuff. Wow. There's actually, I don't know if I can access it, but there's a little bit of a beach area right there. I don't know if this camera can pick it up too well. I'm wondering, I want to check this out, you guys. I guess if I wanted to, I can cut back this brush and access it through this way. But that's actually a pretty cool area to hang out. Okay. Doesn't look like there's an easy way to get to it. I'm not seeing any entryway to get there. But man, that would be cool to just move some of this brush or just make a small opening. Like maybe here. That'd be cool. Yeah. Matter of fact, that can be done. Make some sort of tiny opening right in here. It looks like there might have been an opening here at one time. But that is a cool little spot to just hang out at and enjoy that little beach. Actually, come to think of it, I see some foot traffic right here. Either some old foot traffic. So, yeah. It looks like people do come down here. And they've probably come down, not maybe too recent, but yeah, you can easily walk down this part and go right across and get to that beach. I know, I'm thinking about it. I know what you guys are thinking. Just do it, do it, do it. At least if I can get a closer view, a better view for you guys, that would help. Yeah, see, there's a little cove in there. It goes back a little bit over there. Comes over here. Yeah, I see some footprints. Somebody's definitely been walking in here. I mean, it is a nice little quiet area. That's cool stuff. Well, I think that's as far as I want to take you on that. But you'll run into the areas like that, and it's, again, it's not like it's a big swimming area, or it's not like it's a, you know, it's not like you're gonna do any diving or anything like that. It's just a cool area just to hang out, you know, and enjoy the woods. And getting into quite a bit of blackberry bushes around here. Little creek. Here's another little creek access. Not much of a space as the other one. I don't know, man. That was actually pretty cool. That was a cool hangout spot. I'm actually starting to regret not going down there on that beach and just showing you guys that and seeing it for myself. It's good to do that. It's good to explore those areas. Now here's the road coming up here. This is that access. And as you can see the no trespassing sign up there. So that's going this way. This right here goes out to Ponderosa. This is Ponderosa right here. That's somebody's property, their access. There's quite a bit of ferns here too. Not like the redwoods though. Going into the redwoods and the thick woods like that. Linda and I went to Bodega Bay and we came back the scenic route. And we went through Sebastopol and all that, and I forgot what that other small town is. Anyways, we went through that area and back over to Roanoke Park in Santa Rosa. And it was just beautiful, the redwoods, and it just... I grew up around that area. Not that area, but I grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up in the peninsula side. And I remember too well being in the redwoods and just the majestic view of that alone. It has its own beauty. I like to do that once in a while. Go back to the redwoods and check that out again because it's just a beauty in itself. You know, each area has its own beauty. I feel up here in the Sierra Nevadas has its own beauty. The California redwoods has its own beauty. They both have an equal majesty, you could say. It's beautiful. The high country, the high Sierras, the elevation's not that high for the redwoods. I believe when you go up into the redwood forest, like on 101 and all that, Avenue of the Giants, I don't believe the elevation's that high. I don't know how high it is, but I know it's not as high as the Sierra Nevadas. And so it's the beauty of just being that high of elevation and seeing the patterns, the rock patterns, the boulders, the pine trees, all of that. It just has its own beauty. Now, is it me, or is that a giant, like right here? It doesn't appear to be giant on the camera, but it actually is. This sucker is huge. It's a giant madrone, you guys. That is not an oak tree. That is a humongous madrone tree. And I've never seen a madrone that big. Ever. Wow, that's crazy. I had no idea they got that big. And speaking of redwood tree, there's a redwood tree right there. Yeah, you'll come across a few of them. You'll come across a few redwood trees. Matter of fact, there's one right there. It's weird how wherever you see redwoods or any sort of redwoods, all of a sudden there's ferns around. I've noticed that. I don't know if there's some sort of relation between the two. That's actually something I wouldn't mind looking up or researching, because I noticed that like around here, up here, okay, well, in the Sierra Nevadas, there's not too many redwoods up here. There's like mostly cedar. You know, you got cedar, oak, madrone, pine. Pine is the major, ponderosas and all that. They're the major, they're the head honchos around here. But you still do get a variety of the smaller trees. But the pines are the predominant ones. But I notice when I see a redwood tree, yeah, this looks like a redwood tree right here. That's a redwood tree. And these two look like redwood trees. And look what I see. There's redwood trees around, and there's ferns close by. Is that a coincidence, you guys? Looks like there's some sort of babies growing up too. Some sort of babies growing up. Another one right there too. But that's weird. That's so weird. I'm having to take a close look at these two trees because they don't look like they're cedar. They look like they're redwood. Cedar and redwood kind of look similar, except the leaves, needles, whatever you call them, they look different, dark. And also the branches too. The bark also is darker. It's more, it's more distinct. And these look more like redwood trees. Let's see if I can find a cedar. Okay, so let's see. Those look like redwood trees too. Wow. Yeah. They look like it. Well, let's see. I don't know. You know, let me get a close look. They look like redwood trees, but at the same time, I am getting a closer look at the bark, and the bark doesn't really match up too well. Because I remember the redwood trees, they would have more like fur on their bark. You know what I mean? I'm not seeing that with this. So, you know what? I'm actually wondering if this is, hell, I don't know, you guys. So it's either a redwood or a cedar, one of the two. It looks like a redwood tree, but at the same time, the bark doesn't really match up too well. And my guess is that, well, that's just it. I don't really have a guess. I really don't. I honestly don't know. Maybe you can help me out with this by, if you can like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think. See, here's some of these here. Let's see, this definitely, okay, so this looks like, with the bark and all that, that looks more like a cedar. Okay, so I'm actually leaning towards, on those other ones, because the bark does look similar, I'm leaning more towards a cedar tree on those. I mean, I should know what the difference is because I grew up in the redwoods, but I grew up actually in Redwood City. So it's been a long time since I've lived there, but I have gone back and forth to visit, and I should know what the difference is on that, what a cedar and a redwood tree look like. Here's this dip right here. This is where the ground eroded. I think there was like a tree down there, and it just basically mudslid. I wonder if there's any gold down there. Huh. I'm not really interested in going down there to find out. During the rain, there was a bunch of water that dropped down here. So who knows, you guys? You never know. There could be gold. You know, they say gold is where you find it. So there's nothing to say that there isn't any gold down here. And maybe people have gone down to check it out. Who knows? But I'm not going to do that today. I really don't go, I don't do the whole gold thing anyways. I don't go searching for it. I don't go panning for it. And I especially don't go on somebody else's claim to go looking for it either. You know, or somebody else's property to do that. That's just a big no-no. It looks like there is a beach area down there. See it right down there. But, yeah. See, there's quite a bit of madrone right here growing up. But man, back there, that was a huge madrone. That was definitely a madrone. I know that for a fact. That was definitely a madrone. And that was the biggest tree I've ever seen. Hot burning wood. That's one of the woods like manzanita you don't want to just have in the fireplace by itself for a while, for too long. What I'll do is I'll throw the wood in there personally, and I'll burn it for like maybe an hour or two. You know, let it get hot enough to help burn out, you know, it actually does help burn out your flue and all that. And get the creosote out and all that stuff, burns it out, gets it hot enough. They also have some stuff you can throw in to the fire too when it gets hot enough to help break apart that creosote skunk and all that in there. And I use that too. I have an open fireplace, so it unfortunately doesn't get too hot, so I do need to rely on that chemical to help break away some of that stuff in there. But when you do that, it helps. Or when you have a stove or an insert, that's really good to help burn all that stuff out for about an hour or two, like I said. And then what I would do when I had this stove insert, I would then cool it down with like a piece of oak or something like that. I'll throw an oak wood in there and kind of cool it down a little bit with that. So yeah, that's what I burn. That's my preference, is manzanita, madrone, eucalyptus too. Eucalyptus burns really hot. So I've been doing that too. But I have an open fireplace, so no matter what, it doesn't get that hot. Not as hot as a stove. So it's kind of the bummer part about it. And also, with the open fireplace I have, it's like a circular one. So it's got the screen. But what happens is sparks fly out. And I've watched them go on the carpet and all that, shoot out. And it's like somebody has to be there constantly watching the fire. Or else, if we just leave, we risk burning our home down. So that's not good. So I would, I'm thinking about going ahead and getting, I've been wanting to get an insert put in, or, a stove put in, replace what I got. So, yeah, it's one of those things. It's at a future time, but for what we have right now, it helps. It helps keep the area warm during the winter. It does raise it a few degrees, and it does take the chill off, but that's pretty much all it does. And it sucks, but that's okay. I actually don't like it. There's another madrone. I actually don't like it to get too warm, because all of a sudden I'll notice when I've had the stove, it's getting really warm, and it's like 80 to, it gets up to mid 70s to 80 degrees, and I notice I'm having to open up windows, open up doors, or just go outside to help cool me down, or to help cool me down a little bit. But so that's a little bit too much. Here is a little waterfall for you guys. Let's see if I can walk in there. I don't know what kind of plants these are. Looks a beautiful plant. Looks exotic. So we're still on Ponderosa Way, or this, this trail. It pretty much is. This is kind of considered a little bit of a road, a rough road, but a road. And eventually going to take it up to the gate. You start seeing the view of the other ridge over there. That's all Nimshu area over on that side. So now it starts to get a little bit more open from this point on. Because we already were a little bit in the burn area. I don't know if you noticed those trees that Well was trying to identify. They had a little bit of burn marks on them. So as you can see, that was a section where the fire spread a little bit too, and probably where the firefighters went ahead and put out, worked on. A whole bunch of them might have gone down this road to help fight this fire. Much appreciated, you guys, firefighters. See how really rough it is. Better to have a four-wheel drive going down this road. But I saw a regular car driving down it, so that could be done too. But you run into this tall grass, and it's not a good idea rubbing your muffler up against it for a fire hazard. Yeah, beautiful view, you guys. Camera never does it justice. Up here, it's okay. It's a little bit dry, but it's not bad. It gets a little bit more dry up here. I don't like taking this way too often because it just, yeah, it's not as beautiful as going the other way or going towards Coulter. I like walking through that section. Just a beautiful area. It's a little bit thicker in here, but not much. I guess I should show more boots to you guys more often while I'm walking. For all you who have who may have boot fetishes. I like boots. I enjoy them. There's a lot of people who like shoes, sneakers. They like to collect them. I have a little bit, I have a collection of boots, different varieties, but wanted to try them out. But hey, you know, I like the look of them too. So if that means I have a boot fetish, so be it. I guess I do. Doesn't seem like much of an incline going up, but you can see how it kind of goes down a little bit. So it is a little bit of a steady incline. In fact, I'll probably take a swig of water. It is warm today. It is a little bit warm. I am feeling it a little bit. I'm having to keep hydrated. What I'll do is on this journey here, because it's still not far, and I'm close to the store, that's my destination, is to go to Holiday Market. And get something to drink there. But on this journey, I still carry four to five 20 ounces of water with me, just because, especially on hot days like this in the summer. It is the summer, So I don't take any chances on that. I don't care how far you're going, how far I'm going. There's nothing wrong. There's no such thing as carrying too much water. Never. Another little waterfall here. And it goes back up. It comes from back up over there. And goes right here. See that nestled area in there? It's really dark. Don't know if you can see it too well. The camera shows it. Ooh. Well, okay, this is new. Blackberry bushes have really grown out. Oh boy, it's really thick here. If somebody wants to get through, they better start trimming. My brother, he would usually, when me and him are cutting the blackberry bushes, we'll take a little chainsaw and cut right through them. It's a lot easier that way. You could, I guess, I don't know if a hedge trimmer would work, because I know some of those shoots are a little bit thick, but I do know a chainsaw definitely works. And we can get it done in a matter of minutes. So, depending on how much there is. That's where I came from over there. I'm talking about that ridge over there. Not just this road, but over there on that other side of that ridge over there. That's about where I live at. We're getting close. Oh. I forgot to point out that there is a little trail going down there, like an access. But I don't know if that goes to somebody's property or what the whole deal is on that. There's a little trail there. Yeah. They got a telephone pole that runs down. Well, it doesn't look like it's in use anymore. It's a broken wire up there. Up at the top. Unless they switched that out or something, I don't know. You would hope it wouldn't be a live wire because it's just the ground over there. It runs down and then it touches the ground over there way at the other end. I don't know if you can see it or not, but and what's this? Huh. What is that, an old staircase? Huh. I know that's a big pine tree. Ponderosa, Doug firs, sugar pines, big pine cones. Different species have or different kinds, whatever, produce huge pine cones. Maybe we came across it without me realizing it. And you probably saw it on the video. Yeah, we're starting to get more into the burn area. Ooh. And I see what looks like a down tree up ahead here. Looks like a down cedar. Not a redwood tree. That's funny. I think I should know the difference. least they're kind enough to notch it out. Water break. That's right, I forgot I got a water canister at home. I should have filled that up and brought it with me. Oh well. Next time. It's kind of bulky to carry anyways. That's what I like about the 20-ounce bottles, is they're easy to carry. Not much of a hindrance to the hike. Usually when I'm doing the bend over there, and I'll go back out to Coulter Head or Coulter Trail Head. What I'll do is I'll just carry one 20-ounce bottle of water with me. I'll bring a full bottle, and that's all I need for that journey. And I'll go, you know, I'll go 5 miles with that. So that takes me 5 miles no matter what the heat is, because it's really shaded in that whole area, as you saw in the last videos. It's really shaded. Yeah, so these are cedar trees. So I apologize about that, you guys. I guess I'm not looks like I'm not cut out to be an arborist after all. So, tell by the branches too. The branches look cedar. So yeah. But the end tips, the leaves and all that, the needles, or whatever you call them, they do look similar to redwood. It does look similar. But the trunk definitely, I can't say that that's a match. The trunk looks different. On the redwoods, the trunk is, it's darker and it's got more of the fur on it. And it's more distinct. And you guys who've seen the redwood trees, maybe you don't have any redwood trees in your area, but if you look at pictures and all that, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I should have known better. So, oh well. So much for my arborist degree. So, ooh-hoo. That'd actually be pretty cool. There's actually guys who I saw was working for Sierra Pacific Industries, and they're out there off of Palatine Road. I've taken you on that journey in the other videos, and they're out there just surveying, just taking I don't know if they were checking for something else, but they were just walking around, had some sort of digital pad with them and just documenting. That was it. Then they would get in their vehicles, or they would drive one vehicle. There'd be 2 or 3 of them. They would drive one vehicle and document it. It's pretty cool stuff. Man. It just shows that I don't do this too often, for the fact that I'm kind of wore out. Either that or it's my age. I am going to be 45 next month here. So I'm not getting any younger. I'm sure maybe a lot of you old timers can relate that maybe at a certain age, you notice you start to get, you don't know why, because you're thinking, well, I do this every day. I'm going out every week. You know, even when I was younger, every week. At least. Go running. Hiking. I used to hike up an incline that was steeper than Lassen incline. And I used to practice that, and then I've even gone up Lassen. I ran up Mount Lassen when, 10 years ago. Good view of the valley over here. That's Paradise over there, and then you go down that way. That'll be Skyway. On the other side of that ridge, on the other side over there, is where Centerville and Honey Run is, and all that. As you can see, we're really getting into the burn area. A lot has grown. A lot is growing back. As you can see, there's some, there's an oak tree growing right there. So there is growth coming back. So it'll be nice to see, maybe in another 10 years if I'm still around. If I'm still here. It'd be nice to see a lot of this growth come back. That's if another fire doesn't come through. I know. I'm kind of a realist. I think of things realistically, that it could happen. It has happened already a few times on the other ridge over on the other side in Concal, Yankee Hill. Already a few fires, including the campfire plunged right through Concal. And it did that back in 2008 as well. And then it did it, I think, another fire before that. So it's already been hit like 3 or 4 times already in the time I've been living here for the last 25 years. And so I can't say that, hey, there'll never be a fire ever again. I can't say that, and nobody else can. You never know. They just warn us to be prepared. Keep our to-go bag handy, steady, ready to go at a moment's notice. And that's it. It's too hot here. Yeah. I like hiking back up north over there. North and east. That's my favorite direction. Is east to northeast. Don't know why, but that's when I was a kid. Looking at the sunset was okay. The front of the house always faced the. Always had a. In the Bay Area, I was always surrounded by hills. The Redwood Hills, the Redwood Mountains. And so we didn't have well, for some reason I never liked looking that way. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was all right, but you know, I would always daydream, or you know, like when you're a kid, you daydream about a lot of things, or maybe you had a crush on somebody, you know. I would have a crush on a girl, and I would look out my window and just think about her, but I'd never want to look west. I would always look east. I would always look this way, because somehow and I've always been more of an evening person than a morning person. So whenever I would daydream, or just dream about something, about what I would like to do when I grow up, which I never really thought much about that. I would always dream about where I would like to go and what girl I'd like to take with me. So here's all the burn area right here. This is it. Now, it's weird. A bench. I was looking at something back over there, but I'll show you this real quick. I don't know who these people are. DeWitt and Marion Hoffman. I don't know. Not too sure who they are. There's some sort of notice over here. You know, the trip is. This looks like it's part of the Greenbelt. So I wonder if this trail takes you all the way. I bet you this trail will take me all the way around where the POA is. I bet any amount of money. Because it does say a closed trail, but that what it means is that it's closed to all vehicle use. See? But here's this sign. And it says use of these trails limited to POA members with their guests. Any other using the trails are trespassing. So yeah, you are considered trespassing if you don't live in this area. So I guess I should have mentioned that to you guys. But if you know anybody who lives in this area in the POA, you are welcome to these trails according to that sign. So, but yeah, you would have to know somebody, go along with them. So I guess it is good that I'm taking you along this journey because you can't really get in here. If you don't live here or know anybody or have family who lives in the POA. According to that sign, you would be considered trespassing. Now, there's nothing to say you still couldn't do it, but if you get injured, the POA releases all liability for it. And that's what those signs are about. So if you came back and say, hey, I got hurt on your trail, the POA says, well, do you live here? We're not responsible. All that other garbage. So, which I think is stupid anyways. I don't know what people would hold them liable for their own stupidity and being injured. So, I mean, well, I wouldn't say it's stupid. I mean, accidents happen, you know, but that doesn't mean you need to take it out on everybody because of your own accident, your own mistake. This is looking to the west, but don't get me wrong, it looks okay, but I kind of wish this bench would look that way. Yeah, it was weird. I would just like look out my window and just look at the sky, but it would always face the east. I would want to look at the east, like the northeast to east or north, in between north and east. Alright, you guys, well, I guess this is this part of the journey that I'll call it good with you guys on. I'm just going to show you real quick where this goes out to. So this is somebody's property back through here. There's a locked gate. And then right here, now this gate up ahead, it's usually closed up there. But I guess people are doing some sort of work or whatnot. So I guess they probably had it open for whatever reason, or maybe the POA's been doing work. So all right, you guys. Well, it was good to take you along with this journey with me, and until the next time. So David Springs, Tippy Toe Rappa coming at you.